Hello, welcome to another weekly video. Today I'm going to be talking about when you say what you need to say um, to somebody that you've been waiting to say something to, um, but it may not be something that you say necessarily. I mean, I think a lot of people look at things like they are waiting to do something to somebody or say something to somebody. This is usually like stuff that you feel like you can't say to a person or um stuff that you feel like you can't do. um Trying to think of a good example. um I've known some people, for example, that just I guess their father abandoned them, and for years they had no way to talk to him, and he just showed up one day, and apparently um, the son of the father just decided he was gonna, I guess, say all that he had been wanting to say, and took out some frustration on his father, um, and I guess it made him feel better in the end of it. But I mean, there's lots of things we all have to go through. I mean, maybe you were bullied in school, and you just wish you could say this one thing to that bully, and sometimes we never get the chance, sometimes we do. um and I mean, I think you may have heard this kind of thing in movies, and I know I've heard it in movies, but you know when that moment finally comes, it's not what you thought it was going to be. um when you finally get that moment to say what you need to say or do what you need to do, it's not what you thought it would be. Um, and maybe for some people it is. I think people tend to feel like it makes them feel better. And I mean, I think that there is some part of you that does, but it's just it's not the feeling you thought it would be. Um, so like I just wanted to talk about kind of what I felt in that moment. For years, I had wanted to say certain things to my mother, and she had done things to me that were really abusive, and I just really wanted years. I waited years to be able to say that to her, say certain things to her. Um, she just she was always not in a position to talk, and once I moved out, there was no way to talk to her. She just wouldn't get on the phone with me and talk about anything from the past, and she seemed to have this idea that I couldn't let things go, so we could just never talk about the past. And and so one day when I went to visit her, well, I was trying to stay with her for a little bit, but things didn't work out. We got in an argument, and she got um kind of out of, I say, out of control. She was screaming, you know, going to a level a little bit farther than me in the conversation, and I was able to finally say some things that I had been wanting to say for a long time. Um, like, she just for years and years and years, she just would say a lot of you statements, and she would blame me and look at me very critical of me and things like that. And I was finally able to say to her, well, whatever problem you have with me is, I mean, you made me who I am, and so I was, I just been waiting a long time to say that to her, like, um, I'm not, I don't know if it really, um, if she really heard it or it meant anything to her, but um, it made me feel a little bit better to be able to say it just because, you know, I used to just feel really bad when she'd say stuff like that to me, like, you're disrespectful or whatever, um, whatever it was, just blaming for all kinds of things. But and I would really think, wow, this is my fault. But but it took me years, and I finally was able to kind of just let that stuff um, bounce off of me because I knew that I was I guess following her example, and that's basically what I said to her. I said, she wanted to keep going and keep saying you this and you that, and I just said, well, you know, um, you were my example, and I just followed your example, and so everything she said kind of just bounced off of me. Didn't really, excuse me, excuse me. I have a little allergies. Um, everything she said to me just didn't it didn't really bother me that much. You know, uh, compared to when I was younger, and it just really used to hurt my feelings. Um, now she still got to a point where I was afraid she was going to get physical. I think that's why I kind of just tried to get out of the situation. But my point was, um, I guess for years I had thought about these things I wanted to say to her, and and I just thought it was gonna mean um, a lot more than what it meant. I thought it was gonna just everything was gonna be great. I thought it was gonna be a great feeling. I thought I was just gonna feel feel better than ever, and not have any bad feelings at all. But that's not how it is. You actually end up feeling pretty sorry for the person, and like you feel good. I think you get a little confidence through being able to say what you want to say, but you also feel this bad feeling at the same time, like you don't like. I mean, not that not that you're hurting the person. You don't like feeling like you're hurting a person. You don't like feeling like you're almost somebody you're not. I mean, I guess if you want to say it like that, like um, it just doesn't feel amazing. It doesn't feel great. It kind of just feels like there's actually more sadness through it, I think, than happiness. But you know, I kind of feel conflicted myself about it because you know I feel like if it's something that you really need to do to get that confidence, you need to do it. But at the same time, I wish I had known that it wasn't going to make me feel I guess complete, or like the stars were going to align. Like um I didn't know the negative I was going to feel at the same time. You know, it just felt like it didn't feel like it really helped the situation. I mean, maybe it helped me. Not it was a lot better than feeling bad. Like I used to, but just there was a lot of like sadness through it too. That I guess that you realize that you care about that person, and you don't want. I guess you just don't want things to be that way. Um, but like I said, it had its positive, if you want to call it that. I still feel like the negatives outweighed it. But I finally understand what people say when they say, if you get your revenge, or you get, um, if you get that moment where you get to do what you wanted to do to that person, it's not, it doesn't really mean much at all. You know, it just doesn't feel like it's what you wanted in the end. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and stop here, and thank you for watching. Have a nice day.